Hello everybody, Skax here and welcome to another video. We are going to be talking about the China Cup final. Wales just about losing out to Uruguay. 1-0 winners they were, with the Edinson Cavani tap-in the second half. Now, pretty disappointing for Wales. I thought they could have give a much better game than they did in the final. They played so well in that semi-final. I know it was against a little bit of a lesser opposition in China, but after that 6-0 win, I was thinking with optimism and I was thinking with positivity that they were going to go on to beat Uruguay. I did think Uruguay were going to beat Czech Republic 3-1, but they ended up winning 2-0. So they got through to the final. I always thought it was going to be Wales versus Uruguay in the final. China losing today 4-1 against the Czech Republic after being 1-0 up in the game as well. The goalkeeper actually played pretty well. He saved a penalty and he actually made some really good saves, but they still lost 4-1. I mean, when you look at the highlights and you look at the game, Czech Republic should have won that game about 10-1. They had so many chances in the match and they were very unfortunate not to get a goal earlier in the game that would have put them back on terms. But they ended up winning, so their third place in the tournament is Czech Republic. China, who hosted the tournament, come last. Wales come second, and Uruguay win the China Cup for 2018. So it'll be interesting next year to see who China invite to the tournament. They normally try and invite popular or kind of like trending teams at the moment. They kind of like invite everyone who's trending, and I don't know about Czech Republic. They're not exactly trending. It would have been more interesting to see Iceland. I do think they played in the first year of the tournament, probably off the back of the World Cup where they basically knocked us out. But anyway, talking more about the game, getting a bit sidetracked. But yeah, Wales put in a really good performance, but it wasn't to be. I mean, the second half was nowhere near as good from the first half as them, because they did actually fight and try and go against and pose a bit of a threat in the game. And the second half was just, no, it was just so bad from like a home nation perspective. I mean, I'm English, but I did really want Wales to win this. But BALE, there was something off about BALE and a lot of the players. I mean, I know they do rely on BALE, do Wales, but there was something off. He just seemed really off the pace. He was losing possession a lot. There was something strange about his performance, but they gave it all they could, and really, they only lost 1-0. I mean, Uruguay had so many chances in the game. I mean, SUAREZ hit the post twice in the first half, and one of them was after rounding the keeper. He basically had an open goal. Was from a bit of an angle. I've got to give him that, but it technically was an open goal. So he hit the post twice in the first half. They were the kind of better team going on into the second half. So you thought if anyone was going to make the breakthrough at that stage, it was going to be Uruguay. Wales just did not know how to break down what is essentially a pretty experienced defence. I mean, you had Sebastian Cortez and Godin at the back as the central defenders who just sort of sat back, absorbed the pressure. BALE and company couldn't really get in there, couldn't really create anything at all. King had probably what was the best few chances for Wales, but they were mostly straight at Muslera. There was only really one good attempt from Wales in the game, and that was King's attempt, which forced Muslera into putting it out from a corner in the first half. So pretty disappointing, as I said, for Wales and from my perspective, because I really did want them to win. And after the match where they absolutely annihilated China in the first one, and it could have been far worse for China, I was expecting Wales to go on and win the competition. I really was. But as I said, pretty disappointing, but Giggs should learn a lot from this, because that was against quite a difficult team to break down. So what he should learn from this is what he needs to do to break down the teams. I don't know if the quality of build-up play they had in this game is good enough to break down these kind of teams. I mean, they were missing Aaron Ramsey, like Ledley, to name a few names. So King and sort of Allen came in. So it was always going to be a difficult game. It was really always going to be a difficult game for them. but they did really well. I mean, in the midfield, they were kind of overrun at times, and it did really show they didn't really have that midfield backbone that is quite essential at this top level against big teams like this, because Uruguay are not a weak side. They have a lot of really strong players, especially in the midfield, and you've really got to fight against them in every game that you play. So it's not a game where you can kind of sit back and stand off them because they'll punish you. They got Cavani and SUAREZ up front, and they got quite a decent back line. So you've got to have enough bruisers in your team to be able to combat their ones. So it's disappointing. Ryan Giggs should learn a lot from this game as well, because it's against quite a good opposition as well. And it was always going to be a tough ask for them to beat Uruguay in this competition, or just in general anyway. But a lot of the younger players got the opportunity to play in this tournament. We really saw some good performances from some of the youngsters. The Liverpool youngster Wilson, I think it is, he played exceptionally well in the first game, and he played half decently in this game, although Uruguay really did restrict him to hardly any time on the ball, because they were just on him and slide tackling him and just taking him out at every opportunity. And there were some really good performances from other players as well. I mean, Williams really let me down in that second game against Uruguay today. He really was shaky at times, and he really needs to, as the captain, help some of the younger players by being solid himself, and then he can encourage some of the younger players in that squad, because let's be honest, they are quite a young squad, the Welsh team, and they've got a lot of good talent coming through. They just need to blend that with the experience of Bale, of Ramsey, and other players like Williams to make a really good team. I think in the future they will be a good team, but they just got to put all the ingredients together, and Giggs hopefully will be able to do that in the future and produce a really good team. Because I think Coleman had the beginnings of that by reaching the places that he did in tournaments, and they were very unlucky not to go to the World Cup this year as well. They almost qualified for that, and I think they would have done pretty well in that tournament as well, but it wasn't to be. So I think I'll leave the video here, guys, because we're getting a bit off topic. Wales are disappointed in the final of the China Cup against Uruguay. They go down 1-0 in the competition, so they are runners-up. They get the runners-up medal. Uruguay, arguably deservedly so, on the basis of the flow of the game and how it all panned out, win the tournament with a Cavani tap in to make it 1-0 in that second half. I've been Skax. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon with another video. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you later.